Hey guys, welcome. This is our screencast on social support, written by Howard Luttrell and screencasted by Luke Gregoric. So first, what is social support? Social support is generally characterized as responsiveness to another's needs, more specifically, as actions that communicate caring, such as validating the other's worth, feelings, or providing companionship. What does social support look like? Here are just a few examples, so check them out. Hopefully you're already doing some of these in your life. I'll let you just take a look at that. Alright, and so these are the different forms that social support can come in. It can be emotional, like providing empathy; tangible, financial or other material assistance, like giving a grieving widow a meal. It can be informational, like providing guidance or advice from a mentor or a trusted friend. Companionship is just forming friendships and physically being there for one another. So these different forms of support can be split into two groups, either visible support or invisible support. Visible support is when the person being supported actively knows that they're being supported, and invisible is the opposite, in which they do not know that they're being supported. An example of visible support is Jacob has recently lost his job and is struggling to balance school, home, and work, and rent is due. So his close friend Ashley lends him some money so he can get back on his feet. This is visible, tangible support because Jacob knows that Ashley is helping him out by providing money. An example of invisible support is Jacob is still struggling, but his friend Kyle suggests that he apply for a job where Kyle works, and puts in a good word for Jacob without his knowledge. This is invisible support because Kyle has helped Jacob without him knowing. So, some pros of the visible support: your relationships are more satisfying when your partner is visibly supporting you. It increases your mood and self-esteem and makes you more content from your caring relationship. But if you do it too much, it can make the partner feel inadequate. They may feel that they can't do anything on their own, or they may feel indebted to the supporting partner, and increase the perceived size of the problem. The invisible support has some pros too. An individual's self-esteem can remain intact because they feel they did it all on their own, but on the same side, they think they did it all on their own, and it might seem like no one else is helping, and it's hard to ask for more help at that point. Social integration is just how involved and connected an individual is to their social network, and how healthy these connections are. People with more social ties tend to have lower rates of mortality and faster rates of recovery from surgery. So I have this video for you.
Support might look like, hey, you're great, you're going to be okay. Invisible emotional support might look something more like, oh, when I'm feeling that way, I kind of think to myself, I know I can do this. So, providing an idea, providing a way to feel better without saying, you need to do this. It's kind of giving a supportive idea without necessarily directing the other person to do one thing or another. Well, a lot of the support research has had a hard time finding when support works and when it doesn't. So sometimes they find that knowing that you've received support actually makes you feel worse, or it doesn't help. So it seems like there's something about knowing you've received support that might make you feel like, oh, this problem is bigger than I thought it was, or maybe it makes you feel like, oh, now I've received support, I need to do something for this person, maybe you feel a little indebted, or maybe it makes you feel like this person doesn't think I can handle this problem on my own.
It does take two. It's the provider has got to give the right kind of support, but the recipient can't be too aware that it's coming in. Otherwise, it doesn't work in these situations. And so it's kind of a radical idea, relatively radical idea, to think about the provision of support from the standpoint of the person who needs it and the person who's giving it. But we found basically that you have to understand both people to really understand when this kind of support works well.
So that video just kind of explains some strategies to use invisible support and showed you that visible support isn't always the best way. So thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. Have a good one.